You're raising interest rates to slow the economy, are you not?
Yes, to cool the economy off.
And one of the ways you measure your success, other than fluctuation in gross domestic product, is the unemployment rate. Is it not?
Yes, one of the measures.
Okay. So in effect, I'm not being critical. When you're slowing the economy, you're trying to put people out of work. That's your job, is it not?
Not really. We're trying to restore price stability.
No, you're trying to raise
not wages.
You're trying to raise the unemployment rate. I know you don't like the phrase, so let me strike it. You're trying to raise the unemployment rate, are you not?
No, we're not trying to raise it. We're trying to realign supply and demand, which could happen through a bunch of channels, like, for example, just job openings.
All right, let me put it another way, okay? The Economist did a wonderful study. They looked at 10 disinflationary periods in America going all the way back to the 1950s. Disinflation is what you're trying to do. It's a slowing in the rate of inflation. Am I right?
Yes.
In other words, prices don't go down, they just don't go up as fast. Deflation is when prices actually go down. You're trying to achieve disinflation, are you not?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Based on history, in the 10 times that we got inflation down, disinflation since the 1950s, in order to reduce inflation by 2%, unemployment had to go up 3.6%. Now that's history, is it not?
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but yes, the standard has been that there have been recessions and downturns when the Fed has tried to reduce inflation.
Now, right now, the current inflation rate is 6.4%, and the current unemployment rate is 3.4%. Now, if history is right, I'm not asking you to again blame anybody, but if history is right, unless you get some help, in order to get inflation down from 6.4% to, let's say, 4.4%, and the unemployment rate is going to have to rise to 7% based on history.
That's what the record would say.
Okay. And to get inflation down to 2.2% based on history, an immutable fact, unemployment would have to go to 10.6%. Would it not?
No, I wouldn't.
That's what the record shows. That's what the history shows.
Yeah, I don't think that kind of a number is at all in play here.
I know you're reluctant to admit it, and you don't want to get in the middle of a policy dispute. But I think it's undeniable. It's undeniable that the only way we're going to get this sticky inflation down is to attack it on the monetary side, which you're doing, and on the fiscal side, which means Congress has got to reduce the rate of growth of spending and reduce the rate of growth of debt accumulation. Now, I get that you don't want to get in the middle of that fight. But the more we help on the fiscal side, the fewer people you're going to have to put out of work. Isn't that a fact?
Please answer.
It could work out that way.
Okay.
Sir?
It could work out that way.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Unfortunately, we're going to have to let you go.
Okay, why though? I had an amazing month. I met all of my goals. I had the most deals closed. I had the most...
Well, honestly, your behavior at the company party. I mean, you started a grind line with the interns.
I was never told explicitly I couldn't do that.
You couldn't have just assumed that maybe starting a full-on hump line with 18-year-olds.
It's team building. It's team building.
Idea. You were also singing, I might add, some very inappropriate karaoke. The song Blanks in Paris is not one. I didn't even know that they had that for karaoke as an option. But there's only 3 people at the company who can sing a song like that, and you were not one of them.
So you only hire 3. You only hire 3 people who can say that. That sounds like an internal problem with discrimination. That sounds like the company has.
Yes, there are only 3 people who can say it. But even if they did, I would not have them use the hard consonants like you were using when you sang it.
That's how it's spelled. That's how it's spelled in the karaoke. Okay.
I might add. You tried to punch Stephanie in the stomach.
Well, Stephanie's a bitch, so...
She's pregnant.
Maybe I didn't know that she was pregnant.
We have you on security camera footage saying, I am doing this because you are pregnant, Stephanie.
Well,
and then you wound up your fist like Popeye and ran up to her.
Dad, don't do this. Dad, please don't do this.
honey, look, I'm saying all this because they're recording the Zoom call, okay? But we'll figure this out. What if I put you in marketing? How about that?
Can I be a VP?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm okay with that. Thanks.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just don't tell people, okay?
Totally.
All right. Okay.
Love you.
Hey, love you.
So last night at like 10 o'clock, I got a calendar invite from the COO of my company with just me, the CEO, and him copied on it. So a 3-person meeting. I have no idea what this is about. My first suspicion is that I'm getting fired. I don't know, but I haven't had any warnings before about my performance or anything. So it's just really odd to get a calendar invite out of the blue from the CEO and COO for the following morning. I'm about to join this Zoom meeting and I'm gonna film joining. And it's only 15 minutes long. Hello.
Hey, Grace.
Hi, how are you guys? Gotcha. Well, honestly, I really enjoyed my time working with you guys. You all have been awesome to work with, I think, the past 9 months. Yeah, just overall really grateful for this experience and wish you guys the best. Thank you guys.
Bye.
Guess I'm a full-time influencer now.
Has anybody heard about this Florida man who applied for 60 jobs in a month, 2 positions a day, just as an experiment, because he already had a job, but he knows, as well as I'm sure me and you do, that everybody's hiring. Everybody says they're hiring, yet nobody seems to be getting hired for anything, right? I thought I was the only one. I haven't had a job in like 6 months, and I've been trying. I've lost count how many applications I got out there, and I've even forgotten where I've applied to because I have so many out there. This guy, and I'm not joking, look it up, got 2 emails. One was a follow-up, and one was for a phone interview after those 30 days. What the hell? I even have a buddy that works in a warehouse, and you see now hiring signs everywhere for that job, right? He told me, he's like, I know it says we're hiring, but we haven't hired anybody. We're very short-staffed. They're not doing anything.
Do you want to see how the wealthy actually talk about the poor? Let's take a look at a conversation that occurred between John Taffer and Laura Ingraham. Keep in mind that John Taffer is worth $14 million, and Laura Ingraham is worth $40 million.
What if we gave that additional unemployment benefits to employers to incentivize people to go to work?
Well, what if we just cut off the unemployment? I mean, hunger is a pretty powerful thing. I don't mean physical hunger, because people who truly are in need help. I'm talking about people who can work but refuse to work. John, I want to ask you, though, about this idea of work-life balance. Have we taken that a step too far when you think of, well, a lot of the millennials talking about, well, I need time for self-care. I don't know why I'm harping on that tonight, but the whole self-care movement is a little, I mean, my mother's not with us anymore, but she worked by the time she was 12 during the Depression. If she heard the self-care thing, I think her head would explode.
You know, I think that's right.
Old
I have
school.
a friend in the military who trains military dogs, Laura, and they only feed a military dog at night because a hungry dog is an obedient dog. Well, if we're not causing people to be hungry to work, then we're providing them with all the meals they need sitting at home.
So let's break this down. First, Laura suggests that they should cut off unemployment altogether because being hungry is a good motivator. And even though she's quick to correct that she doesn't mean physical hunger, I don't believe that, and I'll get into why as we're breaking this down. Next, Laura brings up the idea of self-care in a mocking tone, and then lauds up this example of her mother who started working when she was 12. Because that's what they want. Trust me, the wealthy would be dying to employ your children if child labor were still legal. Not to mention that the idea that you should take care of yourself to them is laughable. You exist to work. Didn't you get the memo? And next, John Taffer talks about how when you train military dogs, you have to keep them physically hungry, and compares the poor to dogs who should be allowed to starve so that they'll go out and work. Which is why I don't believe Laura Ingram's statement that she's not talking about physical hunger. And this whole conversation is predicated on this idea that Laura put out at the beginning of this clip, saying that, well, you know, people who can work but don't. It's just this fake idea that people have been putting out there for decades, that the majority of people on unemployment or on welfare are people that are completely capable of working but choose not to. Even though the standards for qualifying for unemployment are incredibly high. These wealthy people don't give a crap about you and would rather see you starve to death if you're not able to work toward their bottom line. We need to stop protecting them. We need to stop defending them. And we need to stop voting against our own best interests to further their wealth.
So much happier now that I'm dead.
Guys, I've been thinking about this a lot because I graduated 3 years ago with a double major in computer science and Asian Middle Eastern studies, and the salary gap between my friends who majored in computer science and work in tech like me and my friends who majored in the humanities and social sciences is insane, and it's just because of what we studied. And the thing that no one's going to tell you about college is that your parents are low-key valid when they tell you to only study something that will get you a good job. Now, they're not necessarily correct, but they're valid. And the reason they're valid is because as you go through college, you'll be told about all the dream jobs that you can get with your major after you graduate. And then you'll graduate and you'll realize there are exactly 2 of those dream jobs, and you have a 0.01% chance of getting any of them. And all the other jobs will require 3 to 5 years of experience, and you'll be stuck with a ton of loans that you have no idea how to pay off. And it's not your fault because colleges benefit from the system and loan companies benefit from the system. And they maintain it because they have a monopoly over your personal, social, and academic development between the ages of 18 and 22. Because we as a society are starved of community and mentorship outside of for-profit institutions.
We are at a point where I think we're kind of at the death of like careers.
Oh, absolutely, because the things that she's talking about is 100% the things that our generation are losing. I was with the company for 8 years when they decided they no longer wanted to have a pension program. They bought us out. We didn't have an option. So that retirement program, that safety net that we had got bought out for pennies on the dollar, and they cut us a check that then they taxed. A lot of companies are doing salary caps. So once you've been there roughly 5, 6, let's say 10, once you've been there 10 years, they're not going to pay you anymore. Not to mention on top of those salary caps, your paid time off is eventually going to get capped as well. So what I'm saying is all the benefits of staying loyal to a job that the generation before us had are no longer there. Yet you still have that mentality of, well, why are people job hopping? You should be loyal to a company. You should be willing to put 30 years into a company. Why? Because you're not willing to be loyal or invest in me. If I give you 35 years and then on the Friday of my 65th birthday decide to retire, my last check is that next Friday. I'd be lucky enough to get a gift card and some Harris Teeter birthday cake, but after that, my contributions to the company are gone, and the company's contributions to me no longer take place. Yes, our grandparents did work for companies from the time that they were 18 until the time that they retired, and they are being taken care of by those companies. I think is even more disheartening is that we're willing to give that 19-year-old kid a $250,000 student loan for a degree to where he will never make enough money to pay that loan off. However, we're not willing to give that same 19-year-old kid a small business loan so that he can have an entrepreneurial spirit and take care of himself. To wrap it up, there's absolutely nothing wrong with investing in yourself. Work a job because you have to, and you have to have money to support yourself. But do not give them 100% of yourself if they're not going to give 100% of themselves to you.
I got laid off 2 days ago. Let's talk about it. But first. Oh, wow. Whoa. I do live in the Bay Area, so I do work in tech. Or I did. So pretty much woke up to an email that was sent out saying we're going to face a workforce reduction. Oh, it's good. I wasn't sure what was going to happen to me, but my manager did pull our weekly 101 forward. Let's dip this in here. And in that call was the head of my department, along with an HR lady, probably a script that they, read off for everyone. After a few minutes of ending that call, I was locked out of everything, and now I'm jobless. I'm unemployed. And I haven't been doing this influencing thing for long enough where I feel like it makes sense to pursue content creation full time. So I am job searching right after this, I'm gonna go to a cafe, work on my resume. Oh, I'm going to Korea and Japan in like 2 weeks. And I was supposed to work like one of the weeks in the oddest hours, but now I don't even have to worry about it and I get to travel free. I got a camera to push out YouTube videos, and so I'm really excited for that, for sure. But I'm still on the job hunt. Regardless, feeling very hopeful, and just want to thank you guys for sticking with me on my journey. Jen! Bye-bye!